The big injury news we haven't even touched on yet was obviously Kieran Tierney pulled out of the squad earlier on today. Josh Doig coming in. I mean, what do you think of Tierney's withdrawal?
I think it's a problem for Celtic more than it is a problem for Steve Clarke. I think it's a solution to a problem for Steve Clarke, to be perfectly frank. I think that there would have been almost an onus, or maybe an obligation, although Steve Clarke doesn't really get pushed into doing stuff that he doesn't want to do. But he may have felt inclined to return to the back five in order to put Kieran Tierney back in there. And if Kieran Tierney was playing like the Kieran Tierney that everybody knows, that might be, you might have a strong argument for doing that, because Kieran Tierney is a Rolls Royce when he's fully firing. Unfortunately for Kieran Tierney, he's not looking anything like himself just now. The Old Firm game was a worrying performance for me. I hardly can remember him getting across the halfway line. And this is a guy that built his whole game was on driving at people and getting down the sides. Didn't see anything of that at Ibrox. And more worrying still, when on the one occasion that Gassama got a run at him, it wasn't a pretty sight. So I don't know what the physical problem is with Kieran Tierney. I'm guessing that it's probably rehab. It's probably, I don't think it's a new injury. If it is a new injury, then it's a massive problem for Celtic. But I can understand why it makes sense for Kieran Tierney to stay back in Glasgow, stay at Lennoxtown, build up his fitness levels, get over whatever it is that's affecting his performance levels, and restart, recalibrate and restart when the international break is over. I don't think there'd be much to be gained for Kieran Tierney if he came away on this trip, if he get told that he wasn't good enough to start, because if he's struggling, even guys like Kieran Tierney can have moments in their careers where they struggle for confidence. And this might be one of those moments. If he was told that he wasn't good enough to make it into Steve Clarke's starting 11, what's that got to do with his confidence?
Yeah, that's very good point.
Always used to talk about sending players back to their clubs in a better place than they were. That would send Kieran Tierney back in a worse place. So I think it solves a problem for Steve Clarke, but it is a problem for Celtic. And they'll need to find solutions. What I would say, Dan, and I've heard too many people say it, is that Kieran Tierney's finished. There's a reason why Arsenal were happy to let him go, and maybe they've got a point. But for me, I look at his age, he has missed a lot of football, and I look at the examples spanning back years and years of guys who did have problems with injuries, but actually added it on at the end of their career and became better, all the better for it.
Yeah.
I think Kieran Tierney's going through a difficult period, but I think people that are writing him off as damaged goods, I think that they're a bit hasty there. I think
very premature.
Kieran Tierney has got time on his side. If there is something physically that's affecting him, then get it sorted. Do whatever rehab needs done in Lennoxtown in the gym or whatever. I think this is a really difficult period for him, but I'm the last guy, because we all know how good Kieran Tierney can be when he's at his best. He's just not at his best. Yeah. But it's not. We're not dealing here with a guy that's 35, and those days are gone and beyond him. I simply don't believe that. I think there's plenty of time for Kieran Tierney to fix whatever issues he's got physically or with his game right now.
Yeah.